Right.
All right, party people, this your man Griff coming with you with a nice little video. We have our wonderful subscriber, Veronica the Notary. She's out there in Chesapeake, Virginia. And I wanted to start doing some interviews, talking with notaries who are subscribers to the channel, or even not subscribers, but just follow the channel and are starting to see success. Um, One of the things we sometimes get thrown off by is the end story of a person of, okay, they made $8,000, 10,000, 12,000, but sometimes it's good to find out what a person has done in the beginning, because as I've learned after starting this channel, that a lot of you are or were stuck, and some of you might still be stuck, and you're trying to figure out what to do, which way to go. And then you're coming to the channel, you're hearing the information that I'm sharing. And from what I'm learning from you, that is helping you to go ahead on and go forward. So Veronica is very unique in the sense that where I talk to a lot of notaries, I haven't really talked to her on the phone that much. She has called every now and then, but for the most part, with her schedule, she couldn't just be on the phone with me like I am with many of you. So she took the information that I've been putting out and ran with it. And as me and her was talking prior to doing the video here, we realized that, yeah, when she first started and we came on to the stumbled across me, she was probably at just under 5 signings. And then next thing you know, she started implementing some of the things that I was talking. And again, I wasn't necessarily teaching, I was just sharing my experience, sharing some of the ups and downs and tricks of the trade that I believe can help a person out. And then next thing I know, she's at 18 around December. And now she's at a whopping 86. So from when I first came on in November till now, just listening to some of the things that I've shared. And one of the things that I've learned in life is that people can have all the knowledge that they want, but they still need encouragement to some level. And each person's level of encouragement is different. I mean, just think of it. When there's a little baby, the baby sees everybody else walking, the baby sees everybody else on 2 feet doing their thing, and they're like, okay, I'm on the ground. And at some point in time, the understanding starts coming into their mind that I can get off of my hands and knees and start walking. And what do we do in order to help that child out, that little baby? We clear out all of the distractions, table, toys, everything, turn the TV off. And then what do? We get them to focus on us and we say, come on this way, move this way. And that's what this channel is about, is clearing out all of the mess, all of the garbage that is out there that is preventing you from moving forward, and then giving you something to focus on so you can move, and encouraging you throughout the process. Because many of you already have the knowledge, but you need that encouragement to go ahead on and step out there. And that's what this channel is about. So, Veronica, help us understand where you was at prior to the channel, and after you listened to the channel, what went down then, and how it helped you, and what changed for you to start you moving forward and doing what you needed to do.
Okay. Well, thank you for inviting me today, Griff. I'll start with that. One of the things that was a challenge for me in the beginning was I fit in. I had like you said, about under 5. And I put
Mm-hmm.
something on your post one time and I said, save some for me, because I knew we were in the same area.
Yeah, I remember that.
I said, save some for me. So I finally got one. And every time I would get an assignment, that one that I got, I shared with you, I wasn't printing right. And then the next day you did a video on printing. And I was like, oh man, I wish somebody had told me that. That was never mentioned in my course. And no disrespect to my course that I took. And then another time, I was wondering why it was taking me so long to go through my documents. I would take such a long time, and I
Mm-hmm.
hear about 1 hour, 30 minutes,
Right.
and I would put all my tabs. The next day, you did a systems video. So like you
Gotcha.
said, I wasn't reaching out to you personally, but it was so valuable, all the things that you were sharing. It was as if someone was watching me, the day-to-day of a new person, all the things we're going to come across that no one's teaching us. No one's teaching us to print not from the browser and print from Adobe. No one's teaching us
Mm-hmm.
that you have to create your own little system within the system that you were trained on. So those things for me, and then I think the practical way that you speak, it just makes more sense. Is that the end? Have I answered the question? I'm sorry, Griff.
Yeah,
Did I answer the
you're
question, or
good.
am I expanding too much? Okay. Yeah, just the practical way that you come at it, and understanding that this is a business,
Mm-hmm.
and that we not so much are competing with each other, but we have to not have a mindset where the employer that we're typically working with gives us everything, that some of this is some of the stuff that we have to go get to be self-employed.
Mm-hmm.
um
That's
just
correct.
your whole, the practicality of your channel, I think for me resonates with me more than anything. The course that I took, again, an excellent course, we'll leave it nameless for now, but it did not tell me the practical side of being a loan signing agent. I can assure you that it
And
didn't.
that's one of the things that I noticed because June of 2021 would be 3 years that I've been a loan signing agent. And prior to that, to me coming on YouTube in 2020, in November 2020, when I quit my job to do this full time, I really didn't look at anything on YouTube about being a notary once I got going. I mean, I would see the different videos, loan signing agent, notary signing agent, I'm making money, dot, dot, dot. And I was like, okay, whatever. But when I came out that day to just do a video to just say that I'm full time with it, wasn't expecting anybody to listen. I just kept noticing this whole slew of videos, and it was people that wasn't really sharing the true practical side of the business of what you needed to do to be successful. Because the vibe that I was getting was like, if you get a stamp and you have a printer, you good. And orders are just going to come flooding in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is not the case. That is
Mm-mm.
really, really, really not the case.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I didn't hit 20 signings in 1 month until August of 2019.
Mhm.
Prior to that, 18 was the most that I had gotten in a month. And I thought
Mhm.
that was just rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
So when I hear people who just gotten into the business, who just starting notary, barely even got 20 signings, barely got 50 signings, saying that I can give you the lowdown, I can tell you the truth about the business. I'm like, there's a lot that's going on with this business, and 50 signings is nowhere near enough to be able to tell anybody the truth about anything. I mean, I'm just sharing my experience
Yeah.
because I know what I went through, and I know that other people are going through it, and I know that not everybody is highlighting it, because to highlight it, that means you can discourage people to know that, okay, you're going to have people who don't like you in their house. You're going to have times where you can't find the address. You're going to have late night 9 o'clock 10 o'clock signings that should have happened at 6 o'clock, but because the documents was late, you couldn't get out there to 9 p.m. And how to handle that kind of stuff. And then what I learned was you got to have a system in place. You got to have a way to keep things together, because I noticed that the more I wasn't organized, the more these signers, who, especially those who were older than me, felt that they could dictate how the session was going to go. So I had to come up with a plan. And that's what I wanted to share with y'all, because I knew that if I experienced it, you was going to experience it. And I understood that a certain demographic of people out there did not need to hear the flash of making money. They needed to know the practicality of how to run the business,
Yep.
because this is a business. It can be for the next 20 years for a person. And when I got to thinking about it, I asked myself, can I see myself doing this every day for the next 5 years? And when I said yes, then I said I got to run this as a business, not as just a here and now thing. So that's what I was trying to communicate. And what you did was take the information you had and ran with it. So based on that, where you see yourself at now, where do you see yourself going with the business? How far do you feel that you can get with the business now from where you first started off at about 3, 4 months ago?
So can I just go back to one thing that you said?
Go back.
You even did, when I talk about the practicality, you even did a video on telling people how to conduct themselves in people's house. That's how practical you broke it down. Men, don't be overly this. Women, recognize this. Start with the person, respect the person that's in first position. Do you know how valuable that stuff is? That stuff has been something you don't even think about. You always, we have respect for people, but where I see myself, to go to answer your question, where I see myself doing this, I have a great full-time job. So I'm doing the numbers that I'm doing, and it's not bragging at all, guys. I'm doing that in my because I have a flexible schedule, but I'm getting that done with a full-time job. So in 5 years from now, my hope is that I'm possibly doing it in 5 years from now, doing it more regular full-time. But not right now. That's not a goal for me right now to do it full-time. I'm able to do as many as I can. Again, we're working from home. I'm very flexible. I'm in management, so I can kind of take a break and get some things done. But in 5 years, I think I'll be doing this full time. Honestly, in 5 years.
Gotcha.
But not right this minute. But so I just want to say one more thing, Griff. When people taunt the money part of it, everybody doesn't need the money for the exact same reason. Where a person is full time, absolutely they would love to have $100 signing every time they leave their house, or $150 signing, but don't get upset with the person that does not have that goal for themselves. And I don't think that's bringing the industry down. I know that's a topic that is a testy topic right now with everyone, but everyone's goals are different. Those are not my goals to make $150 every time I leave my house. So I just wanted to say that because I know that comes up a lot. I hope that I didn't go ahead of the conversation.
Oh, no. That was excellent, because that was one of the reasons why I decided to stay out there. One of the subscribers met me. She recognized me, told me that, it was very encouraging, the things that I was saying. So I said, and I was going to quit doing this. And when I met her, and I was like, okay, I can see she's sincere. I guess what I'm saying is effective to some degree. Then I started saying, well, let me look at what is going on, what is being said. So I started looking at other people's YouTube channels.
Okay.
So there's a lot of the stuff that I'm saying, it's not just stuff I'm just pulling out of the air. I'm listening to what other YouTubers are saying. And I'm like, okay, so this is their perspective. This is what they're focusing on. This is what they think. Then I started looking at the comment section and what people was asking. Then I looked at my comment section and what people was asking. And I'm like, okay, what they're asking is they're asking these questions because what they're putting out is not answering that question. Because the question isn't about how much money I can really make full time. The question is, what's the deal with these signing companies? Why can't I get an order? What is going on here? How does this whole thing work? And I said, that's the information that needs to be out there so that when you are going and doing the business, you'll have a better understanding of what you're dealing with. So, especially when one of my biggest issues was going into people's house and you're dealing with a husband who was very, very standoffish, didn't want to be there. He was the one who applied for the loan, but he acted like he didn't even want to sign the paperwork. So you naturally tend to gravitate to the person who's more pleasant. But then I'm looking at him out the corner of my eye, crinkled forehead and stuff, like, why you ain't talking to me? And I'm like, okay, so I realized I need to speak to him, irregardless of how negative he is toward me. Let me address him the correct way. Let me engage with him. And what I notice is that majority of the time, and it's just a man thing, a lot of men, irregardless of the race, when it comes to doing business, they get in, or we can get into this mode of, but then as soon as the last paper is signed, he's talking to me like we've been best buddies for years.
Right.
So when I started realizing, okay, so I got to stay the course and keep going. And I wanted to share that with y'all. And then I said, well, if it's happening to me, I know the women understand from their side that they need to be mindful of that also, so that they are not getting into a situation. Because one of the things that I learned, they contact the signer afterwards and say, hey, how was Veronica? How did things go? And you don't want them to say anything negative about you. So that's when I said, well, I need to put this information out to help you. Now, I know you've been very supportive of me, and I appreciate that. So what are some of the things that you feel that this channel can do to even help you out even more?
What could you do more? That's a tough question. I don't think you've done you've done the documents, you've done systems. I think maybe encourage people to go back to the beginning of your videos. Like, I don't know, Griff, I have a video about this. Make a playlist on your channel. Is that something? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Well,
could. I don't know if you could tell us anything else. Me personally, I actually literally still go back to your videos. And you're not the only person that I watch, but I think
right.
when I'm listening to you, I'm like, I hear myself say, "Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah." So, oh, I didn't realize that was going to happen. The witness closing thing that you discussed the other day.
Right.
I realized one of the people, when I was trying to tell you who it was, I was wrong with who it was, but I'll tell you who it is offline. But they literally listed as a witness closing.
Mm-hmm.
I can say Old Republic, right? Old Republic.
Yeah.
They say witness closing in theirs. There, they call it a witness closing. So just by you bringing that up, again, it made me think about it more. By you bringing up how you handle a couple, it made me think about it now. I haven't run into a situation where the couples are feuding or anything like that, but because you brought it up, I'm more mindful.
Right.
I haven't run into the house where there's no chairs and things like that, but now I'm prepared. I have a table in my car.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't tell you what else I can't give you a list of anything. All I can say is make it easier for us to get to, I guess, make a playlist. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I can't,
Yeah,
the
because
stuff that you think about is, share is there. The content is there. You went over just about every scenario, honestly.
Gotcha. Because I just want to make sure that this channel is doing everything it can to support you. Now, and to close out this interview, now I want you to share with any new notaries or anything what you feel they need to get out of visiting this channel to help better them, and what other just personal words of encouragement you have for them to go forward in this business.
Okay, this time I'm going to look at the camera, guys. The first thing that I think you should do that helped me, has helped a very good friend of mine, set a goal. Set a goal and meet your goal. Decide what day you're going to take your training. Decide what day you're going to be certified with your background checks. Decide what day you're going to start, and do not waver from those dates. So be reasonable in that. Don't say tomorrow. Give yourself a couple of weeks to do one task, maybe a month to do another task, whatever it is, and exceed those goals. I think that's the best thing that everybody can do. What else did you ask me, Griff? I'm sorry.
And just for what you feel that they should get out of this channel or look to gain from this channel.
This channel is going to actually make more sense. It's actually, if you go back through all of the videos on this channel, it's going to make so much more sense when you're out there. But do not wait to start. Take that signing and have a system in place, like Griff shows you. There's a system video. Have a system in place. Do not rush yourself to do anything. Be composed while you're in the person's home. They do not know that you do not know. They do not know. So when you're there, as long as you have your system in place, even if you get your documents late, Just be composed in your presentation, and you will make it through that signing, and then you'll make it through another signing. Griff, I got to share one thing that
Go
you
for it.
had to do for me, and
Take
I
your
think
time.
I think it changed me. I had my profile. I was listing all of my accolades of who I am and what I am and what I've done. And I watched another one of Griff's videos, and he said, these people want to know what you can do for them. They're not really concerned. I promise you, Griff, after I updated my profile, I cannot concrete say all this stuff is because of you, but I'm telling you, every time I did something and followed your videos, and I changed my profile to let them know that I can drop off at FedEx by 7:30 for next day delivery, so I can take a late appointment, early appointment. And when I updated that profile, and I think I did the signing order, got me some addresses and signing order. I think you did give me that too, the zip codes.
Yeah.
It took off from there. I
Correct.
even have this web around, y'all, because Griff did a web around video, and now my presentations for my Zoom calls, even at work, are better presentations, even though you can see it. But again, I'm a person, I digest information, and I'm always trying to learn and do better. And like you said, Griff, I don't bother you, but I'm constantly looking around to see how I can do things better. But I do think, guys, just start. Just take that first assignment, however it goes, your nerves will go away, take the next assignment, but go back through his playlist. And I'll let that go. I'll let you go.
Well,
I'm a talker.
I know. Well, thank you very, very much. And for those of you who are looking at this, I just wanted her to share because for me, she is what I want for you. I want you to recognize where you're at, have a desire to get further and move up from where you're at, and then take the information that is quality, that is solid, that you come across and move forward. So in this case, it happened to be from me, but it could be from anybody. And it can be a combination of information from various people. But the goal is you got to move on the information you have. And a lot of you have the skill, the talent, and the knowledge, but you're not moving out on it. So when I started learning what the problem was, that a lot of people was fearful, concerned, hesitant about how they present the documents, I looked into that. How deep do we need to go into the documents? Then I looked at what did I do in the beginning. I just made sure they signed and stamped. And when I looked at the mistakes that I got in trouble for, it was not signing, not stamping. So I'm like, if we can focus on that at bare minimum, which is what we're supposed to be doing, you can get through a signing and you'll be fine. So the goal is move forward in this, figure out how much money you want to make. It really doesn't matter to me whether it's $1,000 a month, 10,000. I really don't care, because to be honest, you can't make a dime unless you go out here and take a signing. Whether it's $50 signing, $25 signing, $100, it doesn't matter. But what I'm gonna tell you now, and I've said it many, many times, if you do not have signings under your belt, these companies are going to be leery about using you. Get the signings under your belt. Take those orders and show them that you're for real about this business. And if you do that, trust me, it's going to pay off. The last thing, a lot of people keep asking the question, is this business oversaturated? As my mentor had told me, it's only oversaturated if you plan on being a mediocre notary. So if you're planning on being mediocre, there's plenty of them out there. You see them on YouTube, you see them on Facebook, because they're the ones that's clapping back about any little thing that challenges some of the unprofessional things that they're doing. And those are the ones that, if this market shifts, they'll be the ones that's getting put out. They'll be the ones that's left behind. But if you show that you're an exceptional person, and if you're already saying you're an exceptional person, and you're business minded and all of that, then it should show in this business. So go out there and do what you're supposed to do the right way, because it's the right thing to do, and everything else will fall in place. So thank you very much, Veronica, for your time. I greatly appreciate it. And party people, thank y'all for tuning in. In the near future, we'll have another interview with someone else to find out how things are going with them as they start this here, I guess the correct word now to say is journey as a notary signing agent. Thank you, and y'all have a good one. Good night, y'all.